What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Pat Outdoors. This is going to be part 3 of the Ultimate Supermoto MX650 project. Today I want to focus on installing the CRF50 body kit, my reupholstered seat, some wheelie pegs, get the rear wheel back on, trying to get this bike back together as much as possible, minus finalizing the wiring. I'm still waiting on Electro & Co. to answer some of my questions regarding their $220 option for the pre-tuned Kelly controller. I just want to know whether or not it comes with the connectors or pigtails that hook up to the pre-wired connectors that are on the controller. If you happen to know whether or not it does, comment below, or if you have any suggestions, previous experience with their Kelly controller, let me know. I'm really trying to get something ordered as soon as possible so we can get the maximum speed out of what we got already. But for the meantime, while we wait, let's work on putting this thing back together. Getting the CRF50 plastics to fit properly on the MX650 seat and tank is pretty straightforward, though it does require minor modifications. For the front side panels, you don't need to modify them, though I recommend adding washers below the screws just for more surface area, just to make sure that the screws don't pull through the mounting holes. And then for the bolts going through the tank, you just have to massage them to get it to line up properly with the threads. But they do bolt right on. You'll notice that there's a gap between the mounting points on the front corners of the tank and the side panels. For this, some people just tie them up with zip ties, but what I usually do is I make a aluminum bracket to bridge the gap. I think it's a lot more secure. I want to be proud of this bike and don't want my fairings flopping around while I'm going down the street. So that's what we're going to be doing. For the panels on the side and on the rear, these are what's going to take majority of the modifications. For these side ones, I usually cut like 1/2 inch off of this and drill a hole so I can bolt it right on and have it sit flush. And then this rear fairing or fender, you got to cut these tabs off so you're able to have it sit flat, otherwise it'll make contact with the bottom of the seat. And then on the top side, I usually grind these down so it's a flat surface area, so it fits nice and flat. I'll go over it in more detail once we have it all done. Here's what I ended up doing to get it to fit properly. I ended up cutting about a 1/2 inch tab off both sides, drilled a hole in the very top corner. It lined right up with the original hole. For the front tabs, I ended up having to drill a hole. It's not the prettiest, but it's very secure, kind of sideways. Just wanted to make sure that it's screwed into the original mounting point. And then for the back, I just cut off these tabs and then made the top side of this panel flush and bolted on just fine. The gaps are nice and tight. I think this is the best one I've installed so far as gaps and tolerances. It fits a lot nicer than this last one that I installed. You see how there's a gap over here. On this new one, I think we've learned a lot over the last couple months. And here's how it looks on the bike. The front mounting hole lined right up. The rear mounting holes lined right up. And this is how much is exposed for the dual sport rear taillight that we just installed yesterday. I think it looks really nice. It looks like it belongs together, really coming along. When it comes to mounting the front fender and the number plate, it really depends on what kind of fork you have on your bike, since all forks are designed a little differently. Like on this one, I have an Alter Ego fork. So how everything mounts is completely different than the stock fork. For example, this is also a CRF50 plastics kit, but for the bottom side, I just had to hollow out these two holes so the post would go through. On the Alter Ego fork, there is none of that. It's just, I gotta make one big hole over here to make clearance for this. Then I'm able to use this bolt to this mounting hole. This should be pretty straightforward. Here's how it looks, nice and centered. Here's what the bottom side looks like, pretty clean. There are also these two threaded holes at the bottom of the triple tree that you can add bolts to if you have the same kind of fork, but I found that this one bolt has worked just fine. While we're reinstalling the rear wheel, I'll also be adding a pair of these Wheelie Pegs by SE Bikes. I chose to add a pair of these onto the bike to add additional protection for the swing arm paint. I don't want it to get all scraped up whenever I'm tipping the bike over on its side when I'm doing dumb stuff, which I likely will with this bike. And also hoping that I can carry a passenger, have someone stand on these while I'm riding. We'll see. I chose to go with these ones specifically because it has a adapter. It has like a threaded sleeve that allows you to fit it on a 14 mil or 3/8 inch axle. As you know, like most BMX pegs only fit like the skinnier axles for bicycles. These are much fatter than your typical bicycle axle, so hopefully they work. I'll tell you what, that was a major pain in the ass, but we got it on there, just the right amount of thread on both sides. It's flush with the top of the nut. So hopefully I don't have to do that again. That was such a pain to get everything to line up properly, but got it on there. Decent amount of clearance between the wheel and the motor. All set. All right, guys, that is all I have energy for today. I still got to take care of some work stuff. But if you're interested in checking out any of the items, parts that I'm using for this project, I will leave links in the description where you can get everything. But if you found today's project helpful in any way, do me a favor and hit that like button. If you like this kind of content, want to keep up with some of my projects, such as the mini ultimate supermoto build, consider subscribing to this channel. But this is going to be it for today. Thank you for watching.